Hey yo! In today's video, I'm talking about whether or not Call of Duty is copying other shooter franchises. There were a lot of people in my Twitter feed after the reveal on Sunday who were throwing around that accusation, and there were two main accusations that I saw, and this video is basically going to be a rebuttal to both of them. So, number one is something aesthetic. I was presented with this image and told that Black Ops 3 is copying Titanfall with the wall running mechanic because they look identical. Granted, they do look identical, but I have a huge problem with saying Black Ops 3 is copying Titanfall, and I have three main reasons why that is just bullshit. Number one, any first-person shooter, or any first-person game for that matter, that decides to use wall running is going to basically look like this. The image basically tilts around 20 degrees, and it gives the appearance and sensation that you're running on the wall. That's pretty straightforward. Number two, yes, Black Ops 3 and Titanfall look very similar when comparing these two shots, but don't forget that it was Respawn who decided to make Titanfall look exactly like a Call of Duty game. They used the same art style, the same movement mechanics, similar animations, the same color palette, the exact same HUD layout. I mean, Call of Duty has been around way longer than Titanfall, so if these two games look alike, it's because Titanfall looks like Call of Duty, not because Call of Duty looks like Titanfall. Reason number three, Titanfall didn't invent wall running. They weren't the first or only game to incorporate wall running, so in no way whatsoever do they deserve any bit of credit for it. Upon doing a quick Google search, I found an article on GiantBomb.com that lists 61 different games that use some variation of wall running, and all but two of those games were released before Titanfall. The oldest one on the list was Tiny Toons Adventures for the SNES back in 1992, so if we're gonna start accusing developers of copying game mechanics and ideas, then we have to be fair and give the credit where it's due, and Tiny Toons Adventures did it first. Wall running isn't exactly the most far out idea either, so I don't think Treyarch developers needed to deliberately steal the idea from somewhere else. I think anyone who was trying to come up with new ideas or features to implement into a game could conjure up the concept of wall running on their own without having to be inspired by something else. And I find it far more likely that someone at Treyarch simply suggested it as a random idea, and then the team went for it, rather than someone playing Titanfall and saying, hey, I'm gonna take this idea and put it in our next game. Like, that just seems like fucking bullshit to me. Regardless of all that though, they are only similar in aesthetic ways, and as I pointed out, that's because Titanfall copied Call of Duty to begin with. As far as the actual mechanics go, according to Drifter, who's played it, he says it feels a lot different and doesn't work the same as wall running in Titanfall. And he said wall running is not a big part of the experience like it is in Titanfall, and is apparently more difficult to do than it is in Titanfall. So the bottom line is, Call of Duty didn't copy shit from Titanfall, nor will it ever. Now on to the second thing that people have been saying, and it actually has a little more credibility behind it, but again, we gotta give credit where it's due. Now this accusation comes from the new specialist classes available in Black Ops 3, where you can basically select a certain character who has a special ability attached to them. This ability can be earned during the match, and it basically sounds a lot like how Destiny has 3 different classes, each with its own specific special ability. In that sense, it does look a little bit like Black Ops 3 is stealing a page out of Destiny's book. But there are two things I gotta say about this. Number one, Black Ops 3 has been in development for 3 years, and the Destiny Alpha isn't even a year old yet. So I'd say the chances are Treyarch already had this idea in the works before they even had a chance to see it in Destiny. Therefore, how could they be copying it? I mean, is it really far-fetched to think that both companies came up with the same idea? Much like wall running, I don't find this to be that far out of an idea, so I'd say the chances are pretty good that they were both able to come up with it on their own. Either way, let's rewind back to May 3rd, 2014, where I made a video talking about multiplayer predictions for Advanced Warfare. The video was titled Advanced Warfare Multiplayer Class Perks, and in the video I describe exactly what both Bungie and Treyarch ended up putting in their game. So here's a clip.
And I thought, well, what if these things were just special types of kill streaks or perks that you earn depending on what kind of class you're using. And let's say you get on and this is just a random number I'm throwing out there, but let's say you get on a 10 kill streak. All of a sudden your gloves become activated, and now you can climb certain walls and access certain points of the map that are otherwise inaccessible to other people. But it's not something that's going to make you invincible, and basically if you get killed while up there, then your power goes away and you start again from zero. And then again, once you get on like a 10 kill streak, the suit activates to the point where now you can run super fast, you have super strength, and you have super mobility. So you can, do super jumps and just, whiz around the map like marathon and lightweight. Cool. Obviously, if you died, again, you'd start back from the beginning. But it would just give you this added benefit, almost like a perk boost, almost like...
So as you see, I came up with the idea to have special abilities based on the specific class that you choose. I even said that these abilities would have to be earned during the match, and that if you died while using it, it would reset, and that's exactly how it works in Black Ops 3. So since I went public with the idea before Destiny came out and before Black Ops 3 was announced, does that mean that they both copied me? Of course not. But it just goes to show you that more than one person can have the same idea, and that, it doesn't mean anybody's copying anybody else. So did Black Ops 3 copy Destiny? No, they didn't. I see Treyarch as a very strong and independent development studio. I'm sure they get inspiration from different things here and there, but deliberately stealing ideas from other games is just not something that they would do. So that's going to be it for this video. If you would like to discuss this or add your own thoughts, the comment section below is a perfect place to do that. Or, as always, you can hit me up on Twitter @VileSelf. But that's it for me for now. Until next time, villains. Later.